Bad design is everywhere. It has gotten to the point that we're so normalized, to be honest, to bad design, especially in Bangladesh. We're very forgiving of horribly designed things just because we understand what the message is. But we do judge. At least I judge. So when you come to a local restaurant in Dhaka, you don't expect the menu to look amazing. This is fine. You go through the menu, there's a lot of spelling mistakes, but who cares? You come for the food, it keeps you happy as a customer, it keeps them happy as a business. So good design is not really mandatory everywhere. For them, this is good design. Many businesses don't even bother designing at all. Things just run. In fact, they're thriving really well on what we call bad designs, with horribly styled corporate profiles, websites, ads, presentations, you name it. So if they're functioning perfectly well, what's the matter? So as a person whose work revolves around good design, it got me thinking, does good design even matter? So here's what is defined. At its core, good design is about solving problems and enhancing functionality. It makes products, services, and spaces more intuitive, easier to use, improving our interaction with them. As our favorite example, Steve Jobs puts it, design is not what it looks like, or just what it feels like. Design is how it works. So function seems to be at the core of design. So I always found these quotey definitions of design very vague. I'm enlightened, but how do I apply it? I was never sure of these things, so I dug deeper. When it comes to outsourcing design work, you'll notice that different agencies bill you wildly differently for technically the same work. For the same design of a corporate website or a brochure or a profile, and yet the charges are wildly different. And I know what you're thinking. Most people think the difference is actually just beauty, to make things more minimalistic, aesthetic, beautiful, but the actual impact is a lot more than that. It's to actually make everything feel more well planned. According to Don Norman, there are 3 levels of design. The first one is visceral design, which refers to beauty and the first impression of what we see. The second one is behavioral design, meaning does it serve the purpose of why it was designed? Does it influence behavior somehow? And third is emotional design. Can people relate to it? Is there a story? Or does it matter to them? So most designers in Bangladesh, in what we design here, are viciously stuck in the first 2 layers. New or fresh designers are always obsessed with visceral design, judging everything with beauty. For example, even if an ad looks great, regardless if the content isn't great, they will still see it as good design. Somehow, it's very hard to find a designer who designs well and also reads well. Amateur designers, as we see sometimes on roadside shops, are determined to simply pass the message. Behavioral design is their bread and butter, for they know certain templates work and they will repeat it again and again and again, regardless of how much creativity you want, because they're right. It works. Experienced designers, however, go a layer beyond. They think about when people will actually see their designs and add an emotional layer to it. It's been said that humans tend to remember stories at least 13 times more than pure fact. And in a world where the average person, me and you, we see at most 3,000 logos, 4,000 physical ads, and 6,000 digital ads per day, it is now really, really important to tell a story instead. So great. Going through the research, putting all these 3 points together seems to define what good design is. But I'm sure you already knew that. So did I. But there's a different perspective to this, which brought me closer to the answer. If you take a look at these 3 points from the point of view of the target audience, the answer seems to be super simple. For people who value aesthetics and beauty, The visceral level, or the first level, is enough. The best example I could think of are those beautifully designed PowerPoint slides we commonly see at universities or even companies. We know that it's entirely crap and from ChatGPT, which is not even edited, but we mask it so nicely that it looks good. But as we all know, and I have to say I'm also guilty of this in my university days, that this is a very bad habit because there's a constant fear that people will see through the bullshit which I have so beautifully covered up. Perhaps the value of my work was so low to the audience, they didn't dig deep. And then comes another type of target audience who will actually judge and question and dig deeper into what you've designed. Because what you've designed has a purpose, has a function, and it actually matters. Behavioral or generic designs, such as road signs, shop signage, textbooks, email signatures, or that big report you made last week at work, all served a purpose. All of a sudden, even if it's not too pretty or aesthetic or beautiful, it works. The menu I mentioned at the restaurant at the start of this video, that menu never needed to look pretty because it brought in orders and it makes money for the business. The CV you designed in Canva gives out enough information to showcase to the person you're submitting it to. The corporate profile you submitted for the tender is just enough to get you the job. There is no need to build a relationship with these people. Although there's no harm here, but it's not good design. Because then, the main target audience comes in. The people to whom your story actually matters. It could be that business proposal that you're giving to an investor or a partner. It could be that proposal that you're giving to a donor in order to gain funds. It could even be that biodata that you're giving to a partner for her hand or his hand in marriage. So that's when your impression actually matters, and good design is vital. And this is why animals, insects, and even fish dance in mental ways to secure their partner, all to tell a story and impress by the order of nature itself. Because now, the value of what they're trying to gain is insanely high. And that's why good design matters. But not for everyone, but for those select people to whom it matters more than the rest, because they value it. It matters to them more because it signals more than just functions and facts. It sets an impression that you, with good design, is actually to their standard. And if there's one thing that holds true, is that good design makes people like you. And people only work with people they like. Thank you for watching so far. Like if you like it, comment if you want to comment, and feel free to reach out.